Hey guys, welcome back to Endless Ocean. Last time we found a compass component and learned about seahorses, a dolphin species, the Strait of Magellan, and a bunch of islands in the middle of nowhere. Today we play hoop. Do plot. Whatever. And the first step in doing that is to talk to Catherine. This is the worst plan. Oh. Ah, she got us. We thought she was stupid, and we were wrong. Topographical surveys of water for species is quite difficult. That's not what... No, that's not quite... It doesn't work that way at all. No... Not really. That's not how whale falls work. Whale falls happen anywhere a whale dies, which is spontaneous. It's not a planned thing. Whales don't know when they're going to die, generally speaking, any more than anyone else tends to. They fall where they fall, and that's where their corpse gets eaten up by a variety of sea life, as we have in the Abyss. Frankly, I'm not really sure where they got that from. Are they confusing the myth about elephant graveyards, which also don't exist, for whales? Because they're both sort of intelligent? Toss another accuracy on the pile. An odd thing about the Endless Ocean series that I've always found is that there are actually no sea snakes in any of the games. Now, sea snakes are pretty common in the Pacific Ocean. They're basically everywhere, and yet you just don't find any in the game. It's sort of strange. Well, whatever. Well, I suppose I might as well just swim around and clear out some map while I'm down here. I could tell you my most interesting diving story. One time I was out diving and I saw this really strange...
Found in the Indian Pacific Ocean, sea snakes are ocean-going snakes, members of the subfamily Hydrophinae. Though they are evolved from fully terrestrial snakes, being relatives of the cobras in fact, they live almost entirely in the sea, and except for one group, the sea kraits, are almost completely useless at mobilization on land. They're a highly adaptive group of animals, their bodies becoming laterally compressed, similar to eels, and the ends of their tails altered in a vertically aligned rudder, not unlike fish. Like all reptiles, however, they do have to surface for air periodically. Despite this, they have been reported at depths of 90 meters and can remain submerged for a few hours at a time. This is remarkable for an air-breathing vertebrate, as even the sperm whale can only hold its breath for about 90 minutes. Amazingly again for reptiles whose skin are thick and scaly, most sea snakes can actually respire through the outer layer of their skins. Fucking check that shit. Sea snakes are incredibly venomous snakes and used as the hunt. Sea snake will bite a fish, wait a few moments after it swims off, and uncannily be able to find wherever its prey swam off to and died. Several snakes seem to prefer eels, which die almost instantaneously to a sea snake bite. Though they're incredibly venomous, almost all sea snakes are actually extremely docile towards humans, with a couple of exceptions. Sea snakes that feed primarily by just swallowing their prey whole are more likely to bite, as their venom is more used defensively than for hunting. But all sea snakes will flip the fuck out if they're on land. They do not handle it well and will lash out. However, their lack of ventral scales makes them almost completely helpless. They can't even coil up and lash out like their terrestrial cousins. The exception, again, are sea kraits, which are so chill and laid back, the fishermen can just pick them up and move them aside. I don't recommend you doing this if you do happen to come across a sea snake somehow, because they are extremely venomous, and that's bad. One bite from these things and oh baby are you fucked. Sea snakes are truly adapted for the sea, even more so than sea turtles, and that they even give birth in the ocean to live young. Again, sea kraits are the exception, which always lay a clutch of 5 eggs in secluded caves.
Forget that dirty old bag. We're back to the Abyss itself. You may remember from the last few times that we were in the Abyss, there was a very distinct and overt difference to what appeared from day to night. There was actually an animal that I managed to miss during the day cycle of our first dive there. With luck, we'll find it this time. Whale falls are actually incredibly fascinating, and they're a pretty recent discovery. The first one was observed by marine biologists in 1987 by the Alvin deep-sea submersible, which you may have heard of before. As I stated, they're quite frequent. There's about an average spacing of 12 kilometers between every whale fall. So they're, that's not a rare thing, and it's certainly not that they're all piled up in one place, as Catherine seemed to imply. Frankly, the approach here to looking for a large, mysterious, apparently giant whale of some kind, worshipped by an ancient culture, is quite stupid. This is quite possibly the least effective approach I could think of, short of just sitting on the beach with a pair of binoculars and looking for a weird whale. It's about the same level, I would say, actually. A more accurate approach would involve some sort of large-scale survey using cameras, probably placed on buoys and some sort of major thoroughfare around the island, theoretically, and just kind of go over all the footage and see if you see anything unusual from the whales you spot. Really the only chance you have. But who cares about that? We found the thing I missed. The Praia dubia, or giant siphonophore. Siphonophores and hydrozoans in general are quite weird. They're actually a colony of interrelated organisms that are interacting and sharing the same body, if you will. Praia dubia colonies are among the largest invertebrates in the world. The way its body structure works is that each individual in the colony has a very specific function. Interestingly, its fluid hydrostatic skeleton is such that if you bring it to the surface, it will entirely fall apart and burst. It will die at pressures under 0.47 tons per centimeter squared. Hey, it's that skeleton we saw before. This time Catherine actually has something to say about it. Yes it is. Probably right. Maybe a mosasaur of some kind, She is not nearly as excited as she should be. This kind of thing is incredible. Oops. But we're nearly at the bottom now, and it's time to finally find that mysterious evidence that we're looking for. And for once, we are gonna in fact need Skippy. This is it, guys. This is Skippy's big moment. Yep, that's all he does. He points out the one thing. That's really all we ever needed a dolphin for. Pretty characteristic given his actions thus far, but Thought they could do a little bit more with them, but apparently not. Next game, dolphins and their ilk will be quite a bit more useful in a practical sense. But hey, we found a clue, which is a whale whisker, as they put it. I think it's supposed to be more specifically a baleen fragment, as in part of a baleen whale's baleen? I'm not sure why it would be left over at this point, because I would think that tissue would be quite soft and probably one of the first things that would be consumed by hagfish and other deep-sea creepy crawlies, but it's a game. Gotta suspend the disbelief. Nope, not gonna show what it looks like. That'd be too gross. Ugh. By a while, she means exactly one dive's worth, or one turn off and turn on of the console. But holy shit, who cares? Look what we just found. Oh my gosh, guys. It's a marine iguana. These guys rule. They're awesome. And they have a very strange animation that I just fucking love. Look at that guy. Ah. That animation may give the Japanese spider crab a run for its money. I don't know. Chorokojo is going to tell us a little bit about the marine iguana.
The marine iguana, Amblyrhynchus cristatus, is a species of iguana that lives on the Galapagos Islands. Like other things in the Galapagos, it's got a unique trait in that it's the world's only marine-going lizard. Hence the name, you stupid f***! These iguanas can dive over 30 feet into the water for 30 minutes at a time around the islands to forage for algae, its dietary staple. They use their flat, stubby little snouts to get closer to the rocks and use their sharp, sheer teeth to cut it free. However, being an iguana, they're a cold-blooded species, and this can be very taxing on them. A marine iguana's day tends to go bask, 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 dive and eat, bask, bask, bask. The problem these iguanas have is that after they first emerge from the water, they're lethargic, easily picked off by the few introduced predators that it has. A bizarre feature of this animal is that during El Niño seasons, when the algae they feed on decreases, the iguanas shrink. Like, I don't mean as a population or future generations, individuals actually shrink by as much as 20%. This makes sense, however, as during these seasons mortality rates for larger iguanas jump as it takes them longer to warm up for their dives for not as much food. Doesn't change the fact this is fucking weird though. As an adaptation to the marine lifestyle, marine iguanas have adapted to the excess salt they take in a rather adorable way. They sneeze it out. They constantly have runny noses of salty crustiness around their nostrils. On his first visits to the island, Darwin was absolutely disgusted by the appearance of these dapper fellows. He even wrote,
"The black lava rocks on the beach are frequented by large, disgusting, clumsy lizards. They are as black as the porous rocks over which they crawl and seek their prey from the sea. I call them imps of darkness. They assuredly will become the land they inhabit."
Really? You're gonna go with Ringo Starr?
I don't know how to do a Charles Darwin. I don't know what the man sounds like.
Well, thank you for that, Red, and oh, mysterious Charles Darwin impersonator. Ah, the proud brown booby. Almost as mocked as the poor, poor blue-footed booby. Boobies are actually pretty interesting birds. I like them. I'm not going to be talking about them today, but they're pretty neat birds. You know. But that's it for this update. Next time we're going to find the last compass component and see where it leads. Does it lead to treasure? A UFO? Magnetic North? Who knows? We'll find out next time. See you then.
Oh, I'm Charles Darwin. I'm Charles Darwin. I was the best biter. The best biter. Lennon ain't got shit on me.